Hello, good morning. We're going to be looking at some pre-market data. Just trying to find some information on the CPI reports, and just what exactly is adding to the 7.5% inflation read. But until then, we have about 6 minutes until market open. Um, just quickly, we have the SPYs down. Spies down back into this trend here. We can kind of see that it's pushing the bottom. It might have a bounce in the morning, but otherwise it might just break through. Uh, hmm. The Dow is down. The Qs are down. This will probably be something of a better trade towards, since this is just broadly tech. Might be able to watch that one a little better. Otherwise, we're going to do some more pre-market scanning, see what we want to trade for the day. I'll let you guys know when I get in on the trade. All right, we're filled there. All right, that's our cue to get out. Let's see where the next. Okay, so 365 is the next level there. I'm kind of waiting for. I'm kind of hoping for a bounce at 365 at max. Hey, quick update on the position. So as you can tell here, this is what I'm looking at is Apple. That's not our position. If you remember in the beginning, we had QQQs, right? Let me show you what's going on. I should have gotten out way long ago. I'll show you where my I entered here at this arrow right here, and we had our stop loss placed at like 364 25 ish, right? So then here was kind of our thesis on that. I wanted to look at the bigger picture and make sure that I wasn't getting out too earlier than I needed to. Okay, so when we got in here, we were like, okay, well, it could fill this gap, right? So then it proceeded up here, bounced back. I felt good again. Then it made a new high, completely filling this candlestick right here, right? And then from that, we were kind of looking at, wow, look at that thing go. So from here, we were like, okay, well, this is the top of the Qs, right? We look at the bigger picture at the Qs. Let's look at the 4 hour real quick. You can kind of see that we have this price point. It's kind of like a triangle, right? And on the hourly, we can kind of see that it had made this big flush down. The RSI is under 50. We saw it needed to fill for sure, fill the gap. So we were kind of like, I was patient, but I felt like there was a good chance it would come back to this 360 level, right? Then we kind of look at, well, what's the broad cues, right? We got Apple, Microsoft, and then following that, I think next is Amazon as the biggest weightings. We saw Apple doing this. So Apple's in this wedge, and we can kind of see that there was this pop here. The RSI was pretty much higher. So what we're seeing is a divergence in strength, buying strength. And I was also seeing that there's the 50 and the 200 SMA down there. Most likely, then with a with a divergence of the RSI, there could be a reversal soon, right? And I'm kind of seeing maybe a double top, something like that. The 10-year yield. This is the 10-year yield. Look at that thing go. So after the news today of the CPI beating, just not good. We're seeing inflation taking off more than expected. It had this rally up from this is 1.9, let's round numbers, 1.93, right? And we saw it come all the way up to 2%, right? Then it had a pullback, which I figured, okay, well, that's everything else pulling back. and then we saw it climbing. But as the 10-year yield was climbing, it wasn't. Also, the troubling mark is above the 2%. Anything above the 2% holding. So with that, the price action wasn't kind of reflecting this movement, which sometimes it's kind of like, okay, fine, I get it. It doesn't have to always be the same. Over here, I have the volume difference, and the volume was pretty stable today. And then, but it was slowing down. It was slowing down a lot. So I just held on. I just held on for the ride. So you can kind of see here again. I got in over here, especially at this beginning of the run. Um, Volatility is very high, so I paid a very large premium for all of this, as well as I'm holding on to a lot of losing positions right now because of I'm expecting it for the downturn. But this entire week has been building up, building up, building up, and I was like, well, all this positivity into this inflation read, it's gonna really shock them when it comes out. So I just held on, and I'm like down over $1,500 on my swing positions that I haven't closed yet because I just have this sort of feeling that it's going to go in my favor. Most likely, after one of the earnings is after market today, and then the next one is next week Tuesday. But the main catalyst was this inflation read. Um, so again, looking at this, so it was kind of crazy. Up at the tops here, I was down. At the most I saw on my P&L, I was down to $750. 50% of my risk, that's bad of me as a trader because I should honor my stop loss. But I had this gut feeling that I had to turn around. And again, I just hate being wrong, and I guess most people are. But I just had this feeling that it was going to. Looking at the bigger picture, the macro picture of the chart and everything, I just had this feeling. So actually, what I'm gonna do is, I was gonna lock in, but I think this is just a leg down. I was going to lock in the profits, but you can kind of see there was chop here and there was chop here, as well as this being resistance. It's going to do this chopping around before it comes back down. So I really wanted to run in the money at 360, if not actually hit 359. That'd be beautiful for the risk that I took. You know, I risked $1,500. At one point, I was down. Let's just round numbers sake. I was down $800. Um, but that really takes a beating on you. Like, I was literally sitting here just sweating. But I just had a feeling. I was thinking that maybe after lunch, when people, when all the big firms, institutions really digest what the CPI reports are, maybe really digest what's going on with the yields, and really digest and make a plan. Let's say they're like lunch meeting, they have a plan of what they're going to start doing. Are they going to start cutting their tech, this and that, this and that? So what I kind of thought was I was going to wait for that last hour for it to sell off on that big CPI report. Remember, so it was supposed to be, I think, 7% for the year over year CPI report, I think, and they ended up with 7.5. So it's bad. They thought inflation was slowing down. Even Biden had announced, I think, just yesterday or something, or right before this data came out, he was like, "Oh, inflation is slowing down. It might be, in like the short term, but inflation is here to stay as long as the consumers are willing to pay the price." So, with all that being said, again, I was down over $800. At the start of recording this, I was waiting for a nice breakout of pattern, in which I saw here. You can kind of see that after this long trend, this I was seeing as an inverted head. I was seeing this as a head and shoulders for a correction downwards. It did not break all the way, which then left me sweating again, right? But then you kind of see like sort of a rising wedge. And surprisingly, if you look at this here, this is the volume, this blue line, tremendous amount of volume coming in, over 1 million shares traded. Quick breakdown. When it comes to that much volume into a move like that, you can kind of see somebody, or an institution or something, is they want to get out, and they want to get out quick. So big sell off there in the Qs, which is again tech. I was watching Apple when I saw this happening, and I was waiting for a break of Apple here, and it did that. I was also watching Microsoft, break of pattern here, as it was kind of descending, making lower highs with the SMA. It broke through, but then I was hoping it would break down, and it did, with this huge volume down again. We were also watching Tesla and Amazon. Tesla did the exact same thing there. Amazon did the exact same thing there. These are most of the largest weightings in the Qs, as well as NVIDIA. NVIDIA is doing okay. It still hasn't completely broken down range, but it definitely has the chance to if it wants to. Yeah, not too much volume on NVIDIA. But again, the heaviest weighting is Apple, Microsoft, Amazon. So again, back to the Qs real quick. I was up at the top of this huge implied volatility move. I was up $300. Could have taken that and just could have left, but I feel like this is just a pullback on another move down. So whoever saw that move, so first of all, this person who was selling this, right? They're triggering everybody now, and people have to start making decisions. And they're going to be like, well, whatever that is, whatever that move is that it broke out of this uptrending support, it broke out heavily with 1 million shares. People are going to be thinking, well, whatever they're thinking, we're probably in the same boat too. So there's this resistance now of this 362 level. Just like on the move up, there was this obvious pullback before it continued up. We're seeing a bounce and then hopefully a resistance soon. Back down. That was some heavy selling. There could be a larger pullback. Definitely possible. We'll kind of take a look at the retracement levels, but my initial plan, even without this beautiful pullback, break of trend happening, my plan was to hold it until the last hour. I thought that the last hour would be where the real selling was going to take off, because of again, like I said, that firms and everything in New York, they have to digest the information and kind of make plans for it. The 10-year is still rising. 2.4, almost 2.5% now. It went up from like 1.95, let's say, I don't remember. But that's a big jump on that CPI report. So now it's just a waiting game to see what happens. We are down again $100. We bought up here and it's down here and we're still down. It's because, again, volatility is Vega. That was implied into the premium of the contracts. So we're just holding on now for dear life. 50% retracement right here, maybe before it bounces down. But while that's happening, there's also the 50 made there. Again, we were intending to hold until market close. My goal was around 360, 359 now, but I'll let you guys know when I close. But that was just a big move that I kind of wanted to highlight, that it can really signify a big trend change. All right, so here's the breakdown so far. We just broke a support level for Apple and Microsoft both. You can kind of see this price level here of 174, I'll say. And then we have these long dips down into this price points. This might hold as a level, but this was the ultimate level here, that 174 for Apple, and now it is just broke. Microsoft is also kind of in the same boat. 303, let's say 303.5 was kind of the level that was holding it, as well as like 304, and now that's broke. So now we'll see how far it goes. With these breaks of trends, we're kind of seeing, if I were to draw a trend line here, I kind of have this posted at 301. If that breaks 301, that's going to be a flush down. Apple, it's kind of within boundaries of support right here at 172, so that's definitely the next watch level for that, which is gives us some room to run down. And then as far as our Q position goes, we are now up $440. We have this resistance coming up, this support coming up real soon. So actually what we're going to do is we're going to lock some in. We had 8 contracts. So what I'm going to do is lock in 5. Let's see if I can get, 247 for those. So right now we're up 428. Sold 1, 5. Okay, there's 5 filled right there. We have 3 remainders. All right, we're closing the rest of our positions. So yeah, that was a wild ride. We got in over here at 363. We were down almost $800 at the top of 366 here. huge volatility swinging from the entire day. I mean, it started up at 366 in the aftermarket, dropped down to 359, back up to 366. It's just some crazy volatility, and that's all getting baked into the price. And we're taking advantage of that a little bit because we're getting some premiums on our contracts. So as we're seeing these dip down, I'm going to take another one off the table at 328. Take that there. All right, so we have one more we're scaling out. And I'll let you guys, actually, you know what? This sounds really good. Let me just take it out here where I can feel like I'm at a somewhat square number. Let's see if somebody will take it. Take it. Cool. All right, guys, that is exactly where we're going to end. Here's the account. 700 on the day. Yes. We were down like 750 and now we're up 700. So that was really not that was not supposed to happen. I was supposed to take my loss here, which was going to be like a $150 loss and just be done with the day. That's too boring for me. We would have been done. We would have been just sitting around doing nothing. But we braved through the weather, and now here we are. It's still selling off. I told you guys my goal was 159. I kind of sold short just because the RSI is becoming really oversold. And you can kind of tell here, this strength was a lot stronger in the sense of the RSI being at levels, what is that, 17? And then we're seeing these levels now. Looks like it might get ready to turn around soon, which is fine. We might have gotten out just, a minute or two early. But what matters is that we took home $700, and that's all that matters. So I'm glad to be done, and it is not yet 1 o'clock here in the Midwest. That means it's 2 o'clock in New York. They're getting ready to make some moves. This actually might just keep selling off into the day. Probably, let's see. So yeah, it'll probably get ready to break this trend pretty soon. So this was a very large, in part, I think, in my opinion, just a very large consolidation for a consolidation break. Because we are in a bear market since November 11th. Everything's kind of been making lower highs and lower lows. So big consolidation flying before we move back down. Possibly. So with that being said, $700 on the day, guys. Took a longer than typically our trading is, but nevertheless, we did make money. Thank you guys for watching. Probably no videos next week as I'm not in the station. I'm not working from my workstation, so I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.